Hello everyone, my name is Spirit, and today I'm going to be talking about The King of Queens. It was one of my favorite sitcoms growing up as a kid. I noticed in several episodes, you see some of the characters playing with video game consoles and video games. So I thought it'd be a neat idea to show you what those games were. In Season 1, Episode 6, in the Cooper Bar restaurant, you see in the top left corner a guy playing with a machine. But what is this machine? Well, we'll get to that in a moment. In Season 1, Episode 12, Arthur Spooner and Doug Heffernan are shown playing an Atari 7800 console. The game that they're playing is Pong. In Season 1, Episode 18, remember that machine that I mentioned in Season 1, Episode 6? Well, that apparently is the Sega Saturn kiosk, and that arcade cabinet survives throughout all of the King of Queens seasons. In Season 1, Episode 20, you see a closer look at the Sega Saturn kiosk. In Season 2, Episode 1, our little friend, the Sega Saturn kiosk, is shown at a better angle. You could see the screen menu, so I'm guessing the kiosk had several games on the machine. In Season 2, Episode 6, Doug and Deacon are talking about Arthur while the Sega Saturn kiosk is not being played by anyone. In Season 2, Episode 9, you can already tell by how many times the Sega Saturn kiosk gets the spotlight in the show. Even more so than some of the side characters that came and went. In Season 2, Episode 10, you can see up close a little more shown of the actual screen from the Sega Saturn kiosk. In Season 2, Episode 11, someone's playing with the Sega Saturn kiosk. Afterwards, at the bowling alley on the left side of the screen, you can see a arcade cabinet. It's one of those arcade machines that has multiple games on it. It says Neo Geo, but I can't tell what the games are. Later on in the episode, while Doug and his team is playing a tournament in bowling, you can see a Maximum Force arcade cabinet. In Season 2, Episode 13, the Sega Saturn kiosk is getting ready for a bachelor party. In Season 2, Episode 21, there's a lot of video game arcade cabinets being shown. So let's first start off with the obvious. In the first scene, Doug is playing Tekken 3 with some kid. On the left side, you see a Virtual Fighter arcade cabinet. There's also a tabletop game here which I cannot make the name out. All the way in the back, there's a In the Hunt arcade cabinet. In the next scene, as Deacon says hello to Doug, there's a Crazy Taxi arcade cabinet, a Alpine Racer 2 arcade cabinet by Namco, a Aqua Jet arcade cabinet by Namco as well. The last arcade cabinet which I could spot was Off-Road Thunder by Midway. There's also some video game posters shown throughout this whole scene advertising games such as NFL Blitz, Mortal Kombat Gold, and Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Oh, baby, you're turning me on.
Oh, I know I am Pokemon.
In Season 3, Episode 8, we have a writing error. This is a flashback episode of when Doug met Carrie, and I believe that this flashback takes place around 1993 to 1995, but the Sega Saturn kiosk is still shown in the Cooper's restaurant bar. That arcade cabinet released around 1996. In Season 3, Episode 13, we see what used to be an electronics boutique. Has anyone ever bought games from the store? Let me know in the comments below. Back in the present day of the year 2001, in Season 3, Episode 14, you see the Sega Saturn kiosk once again. In Season 3, Episode 16, you can see Doug playing Gran Turismo on the PlayStation 1, and he's using a driving wheel. In Season 4, Episode 4, on the right side of Carrie, if you look closely, you can see a Nintendo 64 controller in its actual box. I wonder how much it goes for today. In Season 4, Episode 10, you can see Doug playing the Game Boy Advance. When this handheld came out, it revolutionized the world of gaming. Later in the episode, inside Danny's apartment, you can see a Missile Command arcade cabinet. In Season 4, Episode 11, you can see a Pokemon advertisement on the back of the cereal box. In Season 4, Episode 19, you can see Doug playing the PS2. It seems that he's either playing Madden or NFL Game Day 2002. Here's the PS2 being shown in display. In Season 5, Episode 5, there's a few arcade cabinets being shown. You've got your Afterburner, NFL Blitz, Primal Rage, 2-on-2 Open Ice Challenge. There's also an arcade in the middle of the screen, but someone's head's blocking it. So if you figure it out, please let me know in the comments. And there's also an NBA Jam arcade cabinet as well.
Margie girl, my heart's in a world tonight.
The Sega Saturn kiosk is getting the spotlight once again. An NBA game is shown on screen here, probably NBA Shootout for PS2. The PS2 is also shown on display.
I think you owe an apology to Miss Laura Croft, Tomb Raider.
The PS2 is also shown here on top of a lot of magazines.
Can you fix my Game Boy?
There you go. Good as new.
Thanks.
The PS2 is on Doug's bed along with some Blockbuster tapes. In Season 6, Episode 21, while everyone's hanging out at the Cooper's restaurant, someone's showing some love to the Sega Saturn kiosk. In Season 6, Episode 23, they're shown a promotional poster ad for Tony Hawk's Underground. It's honestly one of my most favorite Tony Hawk games ever. In Season 7, Episode 1, you see the Sega Saturn kiosk at a different angle. There it is again in Season 7, Episode 9.
Oh wow, the Game Boy?
In Season 7, Episode 12, you see Lou Ferrigno playing the Game Boy Advance.
You have PlayStation?
No, I have PlayStation 2.
Is that the Getaway?
Yes, it is.
The Getaway is a PS2 game inspired by British gangster films. You also see Lou Ferrigno playing the PS2. Remember the racing wheel Doug was using to play Gran Turismo? Now Lou Ferrigno is using it. Lou was using a toy gun to play some sort of shooting game. There were several light gun games on the PS2.
Hey, why don't you get Lou the Spider-Man 2 game?
In this scene here, there's a crap ton of video games, so I'm just gonna go over what is visually obvious here. First off, there is Xbox controllers you can see on display. There's also a Halo 2 standee on the right of Doug. I could see NBA Streets Volume 2, a Dynasty Warrior game on the top, Bomberman Hero for Nintendo 64 in a generic game case, Ark the Lad for the PS2, Splinter Cell, Voodoo Vince for Xbox, SSX for PlayStation 2, Gran Turismo, Soul Calibur 2 on the right of Danny here. I know I'm missing a lot of more games here, so if you spot something, feel free to comment below. Oh hi Sega Saturn kiosk, which appears in Season 7 Episode 13. In Season 7 Episode 16, the Sega Saturn kiosk is moved to a different position, or maybe it's just a camera angle. Same episode but different scene, but this time you can see Sonic's face. In Season 7 Episode 20, you can see Carrie shopping. In the back there's some Xbox controllers, a Halo 2 ad poster. On the right there's some Xbox consoles in the background. In Season 8 Episode 4, you can see EB Games.
You're selling your PlayStation? You love it.
In Season 8, Episode 13, Carrie asks Doug why he's selling his PlayStation, and that is the actual box for the original PlayStation 1. In Season 8, Episode 22, Doug is fighting off a couple of IPS posers while the Sega Saturn kiosk stares. In Season 9, Episode 2, Sonic is staring down at Doug and Deacon playing a game of pool. In Season 9, Episode 6, Doug is shown playing the Nintendo DS. In Season 9, Episode 8, this is the last time you see the Sega Saturn kiosk or anyone appearing in the Cooper's bar. And in Season 9, Episode 9, you could see Arthur talking to an employee who works at a rental shop. On the right, I am most certain that those are video games. Possibly even some Xbox 360 games are shown. But the problem is that the camera angle makes it a bit difficult to see what those games are. Well, that's about it. It took me about a full day of research to find these interesting display of video games throughout all seasons of The King of Queens. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like and comment below. My name is Spirit, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care.